Somehow we do that as the opener. On the same page.
On the same page. And so now we keep referring to it as a peanut butter and jelly incident.
Thank you for sharing that and getting deep. And, you know, I'm sure that a lot of people relate to that. I know I do. Oh, is it on?
Good start.
Hello?
Hello?
Good start. Is
That
my mic
obviously
working?
is another one of my that good start. Good start. It's like something I keep saying, and what the heck?
What the heck?
What the heck?
Here, you want to know what I keep saying? Like, this is lately sometimes my entrance at work, because like people will be working already. I go in and I go, "What's up?" And yes, it is obnoxious.
I love that.
What's up?
Mine also is like at any minor thing, I'm like, that's so rude. That's so rude. Even if it's like something so small.
I've started adding to a lot of things. Like so deadpan. I'll be like, how dare they? How dare they? Or like the audacity. Welcome back, gang.
Hey.
I'm
sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay, bitch.
All right. Well, welcome back, guys, to another thoughtfully chaotic podcast of Boundless Conversations. I'm June.
I'm Shelby.
And we're
on the same
page. Do you think that was good?
I think it really could be good, but I think we're so used to saying it not on camera, and we both do weird things that we gotta like figure that out. Because you're like on the same, and I'm like on the same page.
I don't even care. I'll do whatever I need to do to get it right,
and it's still wrong. It's still wrong.
This kind of makes me want to make a long legs joke, but I don't know if anyone has seen that. That new movie.
Everybody has seen it.
Okay. Well, have you?
Yeah.
Oh.
Saw it the day it came out.
Well, I wanted to do like we start to, because me and Nathan keep making this joke since we've seen the movie. Just be like, somehow we do that as the opener. On the same page.
On the same page.
And every time we nail it when we do that.
And then we can't stop.
I need to get Nathan down here to do his long legs impression. He's pretty good at it.
Please do.
Oh my gosh, this could launch into a story time of how I'm sleep deprived.
Perfect.
Me being afraid of Nathan, basically. Guys, Panians, I hinted at this.
You were going to say.
I knew it. I knew by the way we were talking about it. Panians, before we started recording, I had hinted about being sleep deprived like yesterday and basically being up at like 3 a.m. and never going back to sleep. But I didn't tell her why that happened.
I'm only picturing, now that we've done that, I'm only picturing that you looked over and Nathan was just like in bed.
He's like has the full like get up on. No, if he did that, I would 1000% leave him. Like, I'm not joking. We killed Shelby. Oh my god. The real story's not going to compare to that at all.
Sorry.
Okay. Basically, here's what happened. I woke up at like... Get out of here. I'm ignoring her. Okay, I woke up at like 3 a.m. on the dot. And I've been restless sleeper lately. And I was feeling restless right then. So I was like, I'm just going to get up and pee and like come right back to bed. And context, if I wake up in the middle of the night, sometimes I don't fall back asleep. So I'm like, we're staying asleep. So I go pee. And I go in our hallway bathroom, and I left the door open, which I usually do, and it's the middle of the night. It doesn't fucking matter. So I leave the door open, and we have random lights on in like places of the house, so there's a little bit of light filtering in. But I pee in the dark because I don't want to wake up. Yeah. So, okay, I'm peeing in the dark. Yeah. I'm sitting on the toilet in the dark with the door open. But when I then get up and like flush the toilet, I will always turn the light on while I wash my hands.
Oh. Okay.
Because I don't want to look in a dark mirror because I'm scared of Bloody Mary.
Okay, fair. Well,
thank you.
The Bloody Mary part, unsure, but like being scared of looking in the mirror, sure. Yes, you should have just stopped there.
So I can be afraid, but not a Bloody Mary.
What if something's like behind you? I don't think Bloody Mary would be, but like,
well, it's gonna be Bloody Mary because I'm gonna think it in my head, and then she's gonna hear it, and it's just gonna be subconscious, and then she'll be.
But it was Nathan.
No. Okay. No.
In the full
but for context, outfit. I always will get up and turn the light on and then wash my hands. So I'm in the act of like standing up to turn the light switch on. And I'm like right in the doorway, basically, because it's a small bathroom. And all of a sudden, I see Nathan in the dark hallway coming in. Don't know why. And it's dark as fuck, and like all of a sudden he's there as I'm like standing up, and he's like 3 feet away from me, and supposedly I bloody murder scream at that point.
Supposedly,
according to Nathan,
that could never happen. Not June.
And this is where like I need his interpretation of what my scream sounded like, because it did make me cry laughing later when I heard his interpretation of my scream. I don't recall screaming very much, so that's a little foggy to me. But all I do remember is looking at him to process who is in my hallway coming at me in the dark, and all I see is a look of pure terror on his face as he registers me in the dark, screaming at him. And we both just like scream at each other, being scared.
I wish you had cameras in your house.
And then he's like, "Why are you in the dark?" And I'm like, "Why can I not be
in the dark?
Like, what's wrong with that?"
June, many things, but I get where you're coming from. Why was he in the dark?
So later on, he says, so basically when I come back in, we're both too awake at that point. We just fucking told each other, like, we just like recounted what happened, and that's when I cry laughed. But he said he was coming to check on me, and I was like, I had been gone for like 1 minute. Like,
well, he might not have known that.
But he never okay, I should say he never checks on me. I shouldn't say that, but like I've like been like unwell in the middle of the night, and he does not come check on me for like hours. So I'm like, you came after 1 minute
the one
to come
time. The one time I'm just taking a piss
in the dark. He said he didn't know I ever did that, and I was like, well, then I turned the light on to wash my hands, and he's like, okay, you're dumb.
Fair.
So when I woke up last night to pee in the middle of the night, I turned on the hallway light so that bitch wouldn't scare me.
I don't know why I can't stop snorting today.
Oh my funny. God. Well, anyway, that's my story time.
Love that.
So no long legs in the hallway. But Nathan's tall.
He is tall. I would be terrified to see him in the dark.
Okay, thank you.
Because he's like tall and skinny. Like, he's literally what they make monsters look like in scary movies. Like, come on. They're not big and stocky and like
like the way he told the story is that he saw him was not in bed, doesn't see a light on, so he goes to check on me, gets 5 feet away from the bed, and just hears blood. He said that I did like like different fucking like I don't even know. He would have to do it. Well,
Oh,
especially
God.
because I don't even remember screaming. He's like, what?
Just blacked
Like,
out.
Instinct took over. Oh my god. Anyway,
Literally
wow.
every time Dylan walks into a room, it scares the shit out of me. Yeah. Oh, that's so
Oh
funny.
my
That's
god.
good.
We gotta get it
That's
together.
good.
Ooh, anyway. Well, how are you?
I told you before this, my spirits are very high. My immune system is not.
It's low.
I am currently sick.
She's always sick.
So
She
I
said
got
she
a
had a
little
fever.
sniffle. I did have a fever the last 2 days. Or not yesterday. 2 days before that. Sniffles, body aches, all the fun stuff.
Boo.
But I think it's on the up. Spirits are very high. Yeah.
There we go.
How are you?
I'm good. My spirits are high because I worked out this morning.
Love that.
And that does seem to pump me up a little bit.
Nice.
I had some coffee. Yeah.
Ooh, look at them guns. Ooh, ooh.
Ooh, ooh, ooh,
Ooh, ooh. Wow. She'll
Get
kick
the
your
kick in there.
ass.
Whoa. Shelby's ass. Whoa. Surprise, it's a fight.
That's so rude.
How dare I?
The audacity.
Oh my god. Well, I think you should launch us into our next subject. Our next topic.
Are we doing good and bads? I'll just say them quick. I won't even explain them. I'll just
Okay. Yeah, do that.
Bad
Speed
is
round.
I'm sick, and that fucking sucks, and I hate that. But other than that, I don't really have any bads. Goods. Miracle League started again. You guys know I love Miracle League. You know what it is by now. If you don't, go back. Love it. Look forward to it. I have a great buddy this season, and me and Dylan just celebrated our 7 years.
Oh yes! Yay!
And we had a really good anniversary date, so
I love that. Yeah. And that was just yesterday, right?
Just yesterday. Our actual anniversary was the 12th, but we got to celebrate yesterday. 7 years.
Common law.
Basically. What?
I love that. Yay. Good for
Do you
you,
have
girl.
any that you want to?
I would just say my bad, because mostly stuff's been good.
She's scared of her husband. Sorry.
Yeah, I can't get any sleep. Night terrors. But no, nothing too major. I do have a doctor's appointment coming up this week that I'm just not excited about. Just because it's been one that I'm been waiting on for 3 months, and I don't like going to the doctor. So
fair. Me neither.
Boo. And I'm putting off scheduling some other things. So it's that's just all okay. I guess I should address it at some point. But I will wait till Tuesday.
Right.
Other than that, just bad being busy. I went from so August weekends had felt really hectic. And then looking out though, September was looking chill. And I was sick. I'm gonna have all this free time. And then somehow the weekends have filled up more than August. And I'm when did this happen?
How did we get here?
How did we get here? So now I'm turning down things and worried about being stressed and just trying to make sure that we don't do anything crazy. So but the good is just that everything's been good, honestly. What's my good? I had my 2-year work anniversary. Yeah. Which I then had because being busy, I wasn't processing it at all.
Mhm.
Which I told Shelby about. Like, I didn't have time to reflect or like really think about like my second year in business.
Mhm.
But then in my sleep deprivation, I had some time. So I
Lots of it.
yeah, I had some time and words started coming to me, which happens sometimes when clearly I should just sit down and write them.
Mhm.
And so I did that, and maybe I'll read my little post, just quick little,
Yeah.
if you that's okay with everyone.
Of course.
It's our
And if
podcast.
you
We do
got
what
a
we want.
problem, fucking put a sock in it.
Tune out. Okay. So this was just like a little reel I made, a little sappy memory reel of the last year.
It was
So
cute.
thank you. Also, our song. Trying to get my tattoo in the frame. Our song, Vienna, came on today at the coffee shop, like as soon as I ordered, and I got to hear the whole thing and sing it while I waited for my order. It was really fun. So yeah, that's kind of like my work song too, like, or just like my like one of my reflection songs, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, here's my post. The anniversary of my second year in business came and went with me barely realizing it. I blinked and the year was gone already. And yet, somehow, in looking back, I realize it's also been one of the most fulfilling years of my life. This past year felt like it had more lows than highs when it came to business. Without the inflation of just getting started to power me through, life felt draining again. But thankfully, what I had started to instinctually realize was that I cannot force my business to be what I want it to be. And instead, what I needed to actually do was set things up to flow. Cue my journey of unlearning, of talking myself out of what has been conditioned into me from our society about how to run a business, how to be successful, or even how to live my life. And thank the heavens that in doing so, I gained instead the insight into who I truly am, who I want to be, and enjoying myself throughout the process. I'm accepting that choosing self employment will never be the easy road, but what it can be is the vehicle to achieving some of my wildest dreams. And at the end of the day, I'm so grateful to have found a sustainable way to live a fulfilling life through ultimately rediscovering why I love what I do. Thank you to every single human who sits in my chair, to those who spread my name, and all of you that root for me from the sidelines. You're the reason I choose this every single day.
I love that. So
But
cute.
in my like reflection, I mean, this second year was also our whole first year of the podcast.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look at what this shit's taught me. I mean, sheesh. It's a diary. Like, you'll see it.
Literally.
So, that's kind of why I wanted to share it. I feel like it's like about this too. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I love that.
Thanks for reminding me to
So
talk about it.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right. Well, so I wanted to talk about something that I feel like probably a lot of people like struggle with, but don't quite know even that they are struggling with it. One, they don't know they're struggling with it. Two, they don't know how to kind of um, deal with it and change it. And three, like something you wouldn't even know how to identify, I feel like, unless you're like talking it out with somebody who like knows, like a therapist or something. Or like even a friend who knows about it. But so it is something I'm working on in therapy. And
Snaps.
it's basically your core beliefs. And at least in my journey and like my core belief is usually when you're talking about this, it's a negative core belief that you have within yourself, usually about yourself or about your life. And it usually like either comes from anxieties or traumas or, a lot of different things. So essentially the way that I've been working on it in therapy is, again, I didn't even like realize I even felt this way about myself or didn't know like what it stemmed from or like anything until like I was bringing up all these like problems to my therapist of like, you know, I can't even ask somebody like to do something for me, or I feel so much guilt when I ask like Dylan to like do something for me, or I feel like if somebody doesn't like text me back, like they hate me, or like just like stuff like that. And so it would just be like different sessions. I would bring this up with my therapist. We did like when we were doing EMDR and stuff like that, it broke it all down to what is your core belief, why are you thinking these things. And so we determined that my core belief is that like I'm not worthy to others, or I'm not like worth it to others. And so now that I know my core belief, we're working on it. And I saw this, it might have been something June sent me a long time ago, like at the beginning of the podcast. It might have been something I saw on
I
like
send her
Instagram.
a lot of things.
I don't know.
Who knows?
But it's how to break the cycle of core beliefs. So, unless you want to say something, I will get into that.
Well, the only thing I was gonna say, something I do know we for sure talked about on here, like it was starting to be reminded when you were talking, really early on, I think, was like limiting beliefs. I think that specifically is maybe what we like really talked about. So go back and look that up. I don't remember which episode that is, but
it
we
was
might
like
link
the
it.
beginning, because I got this post like actually from my time hop. If anybody still uses that, I do. From a year ago. So whatever episode came out a year ago around this time, it's that one.
It's that one. So go find it.
Go find it and let us know.
Put it in the comments so other people know.
Right.
Anyway, so I do remember that. And so maybe go back and refresh yourselves if you don't remember. But I would say what Shelby's describing with like the core belief is one of, you can have so many different limiting beliefs. This would of course be one of them, but of course it's going to be more that's like the deep wound that kind of affects everything else. Because it's like once you address the core issue of beliefs or fears or things like that, it can make all the other ones feel a lot simpler to tackle. I mean, if you get through the hard one, you can get through any of them,
Yeah, and that's kind of like what she's been saying to me is like, once we can basically reverse this belief you have about yourself, all of these other things that you have been talking about, in all these sessions are going to become easier. She was like, I can't promise they'll go away, but like they're going to become easier, and you'll be able to recognize it and be able to like me and Dylan have been calling this the peanut butter and jelly incident.
Uh-oh.
And that's what I call it to my therapist. But so I wasn't feeling good one night. I was like just having the worst cramps and just really just not like feeling great. I really wanted SpaghettiOs, and we just happened to have some because we got them for like the hurricane or whatever. And I said, I really want SpaghettiOs. And he was like, okay, great. So he made me some, and as I was eating, like my stomach was just like hurting so incredibly bad. So I just didn't eat most of it. I had a few bites and I was like, I physically can't eat anymore. Well, I like laid there for a long time with the heating pad and stuff, and I started getting hungry because I hadn't actually eaten.
Right.
And I had already asked Dylan for the SpaghettiOs, so I felt bad asking for anything else, but I still didn't feel great enough that I wanted to get up and like make something. But I really wanted a peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah.
So Dylan, to Dylan was like, oh, like I'm still kind of hungry. Like I was like, are you gonna like eat something soon? He was like, no, like I probably am gonna wait like later. And he was like, do you want me to get you something or like whatever? And I was like, oh, like, or peanut butter and jelly sounds good. And he was like, okay, do you want me to make you a peanut butter jelly? And I was like, no, it's okay. Like, I don't want you to have to. Like, you already made me something, and like you're like about to go play games. Like, no, it's fine. He's like, are you sure? He was like, are you gonna go make one? I said, no, probably not. And he's like, okay. And I was like, he was like, I can make you one. I'm like, no, like it's silly of me to ask you to do something that I can easily get up and go do. He's like, then get up and go do it. And I'm like, no, I probably won't.
Yeah.
And so it was just like a constant back and forth. And so I told my therapist about it. And before I even finished, she was like, because you think you're not worth it. Like, you think you're not worth his time to go do that, when he was telling you he was more than happy to do it.
Yeah.
And so now we keep referring to it as the peanut butter and jelly incident. And I was like, okay, thanks.
Well, and while you said that story, I'm like literally picturing if that were me and Nathan, I would have said, no, you don't have to do that. And nowadays, he would have gone and done it anyway, even though I'm like, no, don't do it. Nope, don't do it. And then he would have done it. But that's, I think, through trial and error of like learning the hard way. Like, I probably then at some point like wanted him to do something, and then maybe he didn't read my mind, and then I'm like, oh, I'm not worth it. Like, I'm really not. And then now he's just learned like I'm gonna ignore her because she's dumb, and
well, and that's her. Like what I told Dylan is like, I was like, I kind of wish like you knew I wanted it, so I kind of wish you just like would have just went and done it. And he's like, but then that's not, but then it's going to be the same thing every single time.
Well, and I think that he shouldn't be expected to read your mind. However, if he learns you and knows that when you bring something up and then say, no, it's totally fine, like that means you want it.
Right.
And that could still be like you not wanting to ask for it, and you showing that you like respect his time and energy, and that you could easily do it. Because I'm the same way. It's like I wouldn't want him to ask me to get up off the couch and do it for him if like we're both on the couch. But like if one of us is getting up, okay, sure. Like, so I get it. It's like you don't always want to ask for something that you can do. And I think that just shows that you are respecting him. But also he could be like, well, I know she's not gonna do it, and I like taking care of her, or I like helping her take like eat, or you know, like now Nathan is like, I think he takes pride in that, the fact that I say that he feeds me, like he's the reason I eat.
Right.
well,
and that's what my therapist said. She was like, you know, and you like might have hurt his feelings a little bit, and she's like, I don't know, because like she doesn't know Dylan that well, but she's like, you like also could have like hurt his feelings by not letting him kind of like take care of you. Like he seemed like he likes to do that and loves you, so maybe he doesn't mind doing that stuff. Maybe he wants to do that stuff for you. So yeah, but and then that's just like one of thousands of examples that I've given her that like is that core belief of like I'm not worth it to other people. Like another example has been like when I don't text people back right away, I am constantly thinking about it and feel like everybody hates me and is mad at me because I'm not texting them back when they want to. And she's like, well, do you feel that way when people don't text you back? And I'm like, no, not at all. She's like, so why do they get that grace but you don't? And she's like, because you think you're not worth it.
Yeah. And to take that one step further, because I was always the same with that too. Like fine with certain things other people could do, but then I'm like holding myself to a whole other standard, and it's like ridiculous and unrealistic. And then now something I'm doing very recently as another way to be like, no, I'm staying like not stressed about it, or not like hyper vigilant, like picturing everything like going wrong. But I almost like am leaning into that in my coping by being like, what's the worst case scenario? Shelby is mad at me for not responding to her text within 12 hours. Okay, she's mad at me. Like, so here's me playing it out. Okay, she's mad at me for not responding in 12 hours. That's ridiculous, isn't it? Like, that's ridiculous to be mad about when you don't know what's going on. So if she is mad, I trust that I can handle her anger and also hopefully show her that's potentially unwarranted. And also, I can't control her feelings. So if she's going to feel that way, I have to let her, and I cannot take it upon myself to feel them ahead of time for her. Sorry, I'm talking myself into this now that I like had to play out this whole thing.
She's like, you're fucking mad at me, you dumb bitch. I'm like,
but the whole playing out the worst case scenario thing like one time and then being like, well shit, I can handle that, and it's not even gonna happen, you know? It's like, that's ridiculous. Like, so that's actually been helping me a lot.
Okay. Well,
But you can't dwell in it. That's when
Yeah.
it's like like you're just spiraling about like
And
what all
that's
could
what
go
I
wrong
do.
and anxiety. Basically, that's just the anxiety portion. But
I literally lay on my couch
consciously
watching my show, thinking, oh my God, I haven't texted June back. And I bet she's like so mad at me. And like, I like have the response ready. I could do it right now. Why aren't you doing it right now? Like, you're just going to make her mad, or you could just pick up your phone right now and just, and then it just keeps going. And then guess what? I end up not doing it. So,
well, hey, I get it. I get it. Well, okay. So thank you for sharing your core belief, or what were you calling it? Core belief.
Yeah, core belief. Yeah.
Core belief. Sorry, the book I had called it something different, so now I'm like, I don't know what we're calling it. There's so many words. Thank you for sharing that and getting deep, and I'm sure that a lot of people relate to that. I know I do. I don't think the like I'm not worthy belief is like my core one, but it's definitely, I think, one of the first ones I had to like address a little bit. Because to be fair, I probably really was looking at that part, like that limiting belief, when I was working on people pleasing. Have we had a whole episode on that?
No, and we absolutely could, because that's another thing I'm really working on.
Well, I could go all day about that. Well, okay,
that will
tag
be
that
a
one for later.
3-hour episode.
Shoo. Oh my, yeah. So we could go on for that, but I think that's probably when I was really examining those feelings within myself. But I wouldn't say, like I said, that I think that's like my core belief necessarily. But I thought, because when Shelby kind of brought up us talking about this today, I weirdly, what was I doing? Because this like just hit me out of the fucking blue. And I was just like, where did that come from? And I'm like, I should have written down when I had these revelations.
Got a notebook and
should have done something, anything other than ignore it. Maybe I did. Anyway, so cannot for the life of me tell you how I came to this, but the variation of the belief that was new to me, like I said, was essentially like I haven't fully really done any processing on this, so like who knows. But it was something like I shouldn't take up space. And when I had the thought, immediately next was like, it made me think, because I've read and heard of people lately mentioning like, I don't know if they say a fear, but like it's not wanting to be seen. Like that's like a big thing for people, like that I'm starting to see being talked about on the internet. But I was like, well, hold on. It's not that I'm afraid of being seen by people, because that it really isn't the problem. But like, I shouldn't even be taking up space to see me. But once you see me, okay, fine. That's fine. Because I obviously don't care about being loud or like bold or like visually being seen. Yeah, but also this could be why it's like, why I don't want to promote myself. Why like I had to be talked into considering something like this. Like I was something that I think helped piece it together for me was like picturing certain people that maybe I'm around, either like at work or in social circles, or like, people that I am around but don't really know, and observing myself and how I act around them sometimes, like people I'm not close with, and then being like picturing how they're acting towards me, and I'm like, why don't we ever like speak to each other? Like, what's that about? We're both people who are like fun or, well, bubbly or like blah blah blah, but then when we're around each other we won't do it. And I was like, something about that made it click. It's like, oh, I don't even want to be bothering them, like people. Like I shouldn't even be in their orbit unless they invite me.
Yeah, unless it's their decision.
Yeah. So it's something about that. I don't know.
Interesting.
That's where I'm at with it.
Okay. That kind of
But
makes me think, like, on an off side for me is like as an example is, so we have grade level chairs, which is basically the leader of your grade.
mhm,
You set up all the field trips and run the meetings and give all the information and go to the leadership meetings and stuff like that. And I really wanted it this year. Like
mhm,
it was something I was like, I want to do this. But then like I think like, oh, I don't want anybody else to know I want it. Like
mm,
I don't want them to feel like I am like taking it over. I want them to decide that like I should have it
mhm,
in a way. Like it's hard to explain because I love
mm,
being in a leadership role. I love it. I love doing it, but I'm not going to be the one that says like, "Oh, like I want it.
mm,
I want to do it." Because I don't want other people to think I'm like taking over or stepping on toes.
mm.
Even though nobody else wanted to do it.
Question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you identify as a leader?
Yes.
I'm just gonna let you elaborate if you want to. I'm just gonna sit here quietly.
I identify as a silent leader. Like
Okay.
I'm never one to be like, "Oh, like I'll take charge of this," and like that I will just sometimes do it.
Mhm.
And I have the presence enough usually that people will just follow. Or like, like thinking of like group projects and stuff, I was always the one that was like, okay, I'll do this and this and this, and you can do this, and like what are your thoughts? Like here are my thoughts. And like I've always been in like management positions at every job I'm ever in. I
Mm.
like that kind of thing. And like I don't mind telling an upper person, like, hey, I want you to promote me to this.
Mm.
Like I never have a problem with that. It's like my peers that I'm like, I don't want you to think that I
Mm.
want to be your leader.
That's interesting.
That's what my
Hmm.
therapist says a lot to me. Interesting.
Interesting. Tell me more about that. How does that make you feel? I'm just therapizing you right now. Okay, well that's interesting. I asked because that's something I've been like really like facing.
Mm.
Like that question. Like, do I
Mm. Do
identify as a
you?
leader? Very recently, I would say yes.
Okay.
But when I had the realization, for some reason it caught me off guard, so I wouldn't have before, apparently.
Okay.
So I'm working on it, but it's something about in unlocking. That's why I asked you, because I was like, in unlocking that, like, oh, like realization about myself, like,
Mm.
it's almost like, okay, well, if I am a leader, that's not something you turn off and on. You are
Mm.
one. And in by almost like rejecting that, by not identifying, like not acknowledging it, I've
Mm.
basically been rejecting it, and like that's not for my greater good, is it?
Right.
Like
No.
rejecting any part of yourself is never going to be.
No.
So, yeah. I don't know.
Mm. Interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like that could be
Yeah.
another topic.
Topics for
Are you writing these
days.
down? Because I'm
Somebody
not.
write it down. Who's doing it? Well, should we go
Literally
into
went
that?
and got a notebook. Literally went.
I got the notebook to refer to my notes. Do
I know.
you want me to refer to some? I don't know what I would do.
Just
Oh God.
random. So, okay, so to go back
Yeah.
to where
Take
we
us back.
started.
Okay.
So, I wish when I first started doing this with my therapist, trying to break the cycle of this core belief that I'm not worth it to other people and like, I should basically just rot by myself.
Whoa.
I wish I knew I had this because it's like I feel like it's a very simple, good reminder. I'm not going to therapy every day, but it's something I need to work on every day.
Sure.
So for you guys, I will go through them and I will
Okay.
use my core belief as the example with it. But obviously, insert yours.
Yeah. Should I ask these to you?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so this little thing here that we're looking at is called How to Break the Cycle of Core Beliefs. So, the first step, increase your awareness of core beliefs. Ask yourself, what do you believe is true?
Okay, so for me, because I already know this, because I've done this, what I believe is true, rather I want to verbalize it or not. That is like a huge thing. I obviously don't want to say, I believe I'm not worth it. Of course, I don't want to verbally say that. And I want to tell myself I don't believe that, but clearly in my actions, I do. My inner self does believe that I am not worth it to others is true. Admitting you have a problem.
Acknowledgement
Is essentially what like is the hardest part, because like I said at the beginning, you might not even realize that you have this internally. You might not even realize that you're struggling with this until you realize all these other things are related to this core belief you have. So again,
totally.
what do I believe is true? Maybe I don't want to. Maybe I don't want to say it, but within me, I believe I am not worth it. I am not worthy to others.
And quick interjection, like, because I was going to say this, but she kind of beat me to it. Because she was saying, like, no, it's like, no, I don't think that. But, like, then you said my inner self, or, like, believes that. It's like, yeah, maybe if you don't identify with having that, but, like, it's there, then internally, your body at least believes it. Yeah. Whether you've talked yourself out of it or not. Like, so if you're in denial, I feel like that's another way to look at it. Is like, well, at least your body believes it. Like, your nervous system believes it.
And where does that lead to? Right here.
It's all connected.
Yeah.
It's all there. Okay. Next step. Challenge the belief. Why do you think that is true?
And this is where we started doing the EMDR stuff. Now, do you have to do that to get to this? No. That can be journaling. Yeah. That can be talking to a therapist. That can be talking to a friend. That can be just meditation. And that's what you're like trying to bring up for yourself. You don't have to do EMDR to get to this. This is just what me and my therapist did while trying to work on other things.
Yeah.
And we're still kind of working on it because, it can be, again, these can lead from anxieties, traumas, experiences. Like, it can lead from so many things and multiple things. It might not just stem from one trauma that you had or something. It can come from a lot of different things. And everything I'm saying is like from my own research and from my therapist. I'm not just like,
we never said we were doctors. There's a disclaimer below. Chill out.
Yeah, I just want to say that.
I attacked everyone.
So why do you think that is true? To me, I think it's because of the relationships I've had in my life. Rather, that was family, friends, significant others, is kind of where me and my therapist are getting to, of that, like, the amount of like friendships I have that end for like no reason, or the relationships I've had like with family members that like go from like being one way to being like nothing. And obviously like relationships and like just never feeling heard by people and things from my childhood and like stuff like that. And but she said she really thinks that it's come from a lot of the types of relationships I've had and the dynamics of those relationships, and me always kind of almost like always being or feeling like looked over or not heard or kind of like dropped, like I was nothing. So we were still like working. One of the big things that have come up is like my dad. That's a huge point that we are realizing is this. And it took us all of these other guesses and trials and all this stuff to get to that point. So yeah.
Well, and once again, side note, I would say if you're struggling with this one, viewer, audience, why do you think that is true? And you're struggling, like maybe unlike Shelby, you can't yet, or you've tried and you can't figure out why you would be like you don't know of traumatic things or child, for whatever reason you can't think of why that would be true.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I, through my learning, it's probably early childhood stuff.
Yeah.
It's probably generational trauma related. It is
Mm-hmm.
probably attachment style related. It's probably mental health related. Like there's so many things that are going to tie in, but like
Mm-hmm.
if you are struggling with this one, like I think you should be okay with not know, like that you don't have the answer yet. And
Absolutely.
you can
Because,
still
like I
move
said,
forward in healing without having that
yes,
answer yet or potentially
yes,
ever. So,
yes, yes, yes. Because, like I said, that this is, even though I know my core belief and I'm working on it, we are still working on that question. We are still, like me and my therapist. So, yes, everything June just
yeah,
said.
there's something there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you haven't
And it's
found
okay
it,
that you don't know it.
you
You can still work
yes.
on it.
Yes. Totally. Cuz
Yeah.
you might be, if this is truly your core belief, like the core thing you're working on, you might be working on it forever. It just
Yeah.
depends on how deep of a wound it is
Mm-hmm.
or how long you've been suppressing it or like there's just
Mm-hmm.
so many things. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. I've rambled enough. The next one
Mm-hmm.
says replace your core belief with a positive alternative.
Yes. So I think this is like the step. I would say this one and the next one are like the steps we are currently like really honing in on. I think that second one is going to be a constant thing, of course. So basically, and this one's still new. So like, I can't talk as much on this one, but so replacing your core belief with a positive alternative has basically been like acknowledging love
Mm.
and also acknowledging that there's different kinds of love. But like love has been that I am worth it because
Mm.
these people I know love me. I
Yeah.
know Dylan loves me and I am worth it to him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm worth him making me a peanut butter and jelly because I don't feel good and he loves me. I
Mm-hmm.
know I cannot text June back for a while because I know she loves me and understands me.
Mm-hmm.
I know I can be like silent on the phone with my mom because she loves me, but it's still worth being on the phone with.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, kind of replacing that I'm not worth it to I am loved
Mm.
by these people I know love me, and that's where my effort needs to go. I can ask Maddie to come help me with something because I know she loves me and
Yeah.
I'm worth it to her.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I love
yeah.
that. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have an interjection, so next one, which I mean, you basically did kind of, yeah, group it together, I feel like. Seek out situations that will affirm this new belief.
Yes,
So,
that's a big thing my therapist loves to do with me. Is she loves to tell me, put yourself in a situation that's gonna make you have to deal with this. And I'm like, I don't want to. But she is like
mm,
big on me taking these things from therapy and putting it in my real life, which I do appreciate. She's
yeah.
very like within your own reasoning. But she's like, if you're not practicing this, all it's going to do is stay in your head. It's
Mm,
never going to happen.
yeah.
So,
Your brain
she.
literally, from a science standpoint, like, your brain has grooves in it that, like, basically are why you do things the way you do or think the way you think. And it can
Mhm.
change. It's very moldable, but it takes repetitive action to change your instinctual thoughts or actions. So in her not doing that, she would just be stuck, like she's saying. But in each time choosing a different route to go, her brain is literally rewriting the routes in itself. Isn't that wild? Like when you think about the science behind it, it can help you. You're like, see, it's hard because my brain still hasn't fucking rerouted itself, and that's dumb, but I'm gonna do this hard thing, and next time it will be easier. Even if it's incrementally easier, you know? But it'll be easier.
Yes. Because, like, although I hate when she asked me to do it, because I'm like, it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be, and something I have been really, like, my motto lately has really been live through the discomfort because what comes after it is so worth it. Something might be uncomfortable, but, like, weather it, and the other side is just going to be significantly better.
Right.
So I hate when she asks me because it's going to be uncomfortable. It's obviously stuff I don't like. But, you know, she'll be like, next time you want a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, even if you feel perfectly fine, ask Dylan. Ask him.
Yeah.
And if he says no, he says no.
Shit. Yeah. He's going to be so good at it. He's going to be bomb ass.
I'm not just saying this. He really does make the best peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. He makes perfect peanut, and that's also why I want him to do it. But that sounds so stupid.
You're like, Dylan, I can't do it like you.
Seriously, though. Seriously. It's so much better when you make it. He's like, okay.
Sure. Like, you're like, I mean it. I really mean it.
I really do.
Okay, great. Well, okay. The last one then. Strengthen your belief in this new thought by repeating it to yourself often. Ooh, this one's good. Ooh, this one's really good. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Suck at doing it.
It takes practice.
Yes. We haven't really like talked about that one as much because we're trying to just get me to like do the action.
Well, but I mean, it's essentially just saying like use affirmations.
Affirmation, yes.
Yeah.
And I, for some reason, because I feel like I'm not worth it, I feel weird saying stuff like that to myself because I'm like, oh, why am I sitting here saying like you're worth it? Why am I sitting here saying like you're awesome? Because like, bitch, you're not. Even like if my brain thinks so, like my inner self is like, are you?
Can I give you homework and I want you to hate me a little bit for it?
Sure.
Because I kind of want to be like your therapist. I want you to be mad at me a little bit.
That's fine because I'm not even seeing her. I'm seeing her now every 3 weeks.
Oh!
It's a new thing. And she obviously said if you need to see me sooner, obviously, like we can do that. But like, so yeah, please.
Okay.
So, I see her this week, but
you're like, don't panic. I have one coming up. When I started the affirmation stuff, which I think was in that whole like realizing that I felt similar feelings and like that I needed to work on it. Because I felt silly too. I felt real fucking dumb. But I think in my needing to work on this, I needed to be open about it within my own home, within my own space, within my own environment. Because I felt silly enough that I'm like, I don't even want Nathan to hear me say this. Or like, you know, something like that. But it's like, if I don't even want my husband to judge me for this thing, which first of all, he shouldn't be judging me for. So once again, it's like, go the worst case scenario. If he judges me, he's a piece of shit.
We're divorcing.
So yes, exactly. So take that one off. But I was like, if I can't even be open around him for fear of being judged, then we really got to work on it. So I was like, that was kind of my first task. Be open about this stuff, the healing, the whatever it is, here at minimum. So kind of a way of doing that. And in a way of trying to make sure I was actually like doing this regularly. was I would pick whatever the affirmation was, which for a long time I was doing like a new one weekly, like kind of with like a weekly reflection type thing. It's kind of like, well, what sucked about last week? What do I maybe need to do better about this week? Okay, pick an affirmation that's catering towards that. So I would pick a new one and I'd write it on a sticky note in Sharpie and I would stick it on the motherfucking bathroom mirror. That is like our main bathroom. Like so Nathan's honestly,
seeing it too.
Nathan's seeing it too. I've accidentally left them up when people come over because it's so like part of like ADHD is like object permanence. Like once something's there, like it's there. Right. So I like don't even think about it. Like I'm changing it every week, but like it's so like I'm just used to seeing it. So I think we're all fucked up. Like we all need this stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, so my homework for you, I kind of want to make it is that not only are you picking one at whatever interval feels good for you and like, you know, doing new ones, but putting it on your bathroom mirror. And then my point in that was to like every time I go to the bathroom, I need to say it to myself. Even if it's just like in my head.
Yeah.
Which I stopped doing immediately, but now I still look at it with fondness and it reminds me to think about it once in a while. So I'm still doing it.
Well, I like that. Okay.
Yeah.
I can do that.
Sweet. Well, okay. Perfect transition. Do you know what that could be?
Oh yeah.
Ha ha ha. Because we're
on the same page.
I thought you were high-fiving me and I was like, yeah, girl. Woo. Woo. Yeah, we're on the same page and we're transitioning to our next topic because that was perfect because Shelby needed to figure out introduce our next segment.
Our next segment is we are talking about our monthly hodgepodge.
Woo! Yes. For September.
Yeah, so we're going to give you an update of our September one and kind of tease our October ones or just straight up tell you. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, to start things off, I had name ideas for what we call our things we're doing.
Okay.
And it was based off something you said and I noticed it while editing. So and then I came up with the idea and I was like, oh, perfect. So because we came up, so audience, if you don't recall, we are each choosing, and sometimes they're going to align and sometimes they're not, because we do what we want. We're each choosing something we're going to do every month and something we're going to consume every month. And those, it could be whatever. But we could call them our doables and our consumables.
Yes.
You had said consumable like on accident and I was like, I love that. Like we should call them that. And then I was like, a doable.
Yes. I love that.
So Shelby needed a doable. And so I feel like we just figured out what hers can be through our last segment.
Yep. Check.
Because we're professional around here. Well, let's recap September before we get into it.
All right, you start.
Okay. Well, because
I know a lot of talking.
Have you met me? I think I started off with a lot of talking. Okay. So because I knew what my doable was gonna be first, which was my morning routine, because I was really trying to work on it. I'm trying to pull up my. Ooh, okay. I can show you guys what my don't break the chain says.
Oh yeah.
So, for proof, 21 days in a row is what's specific about that of doing my morning routine.
Yes, bitch.
I should say of showing up for my morning routine. It varies what I do, but I have shown up for 21 days straight. And then look at this. There was only one day off in way longer than that. So proof that I was doing it, bitches.
Amazing.
Yeah, so yeah, it said it's like mainly like a variation of like stretching, but I've like started adding different things to it, and I switch off based off what I'm vibing that day. I'm envisioning kind of like a little bit of structure for like work days, which I don't really have right now. So it's like be very free flowing about it on like non-salon days, but then on like days where like we're on a schedule, like boom, boom, boom. So I think it'll be stretching, some breath work, and like reflection of some kind, like a little journaling or something like that. So yeah, it's been going really well.
Amazing. Good start. Good start.
I feel good about it.
Yeah.
And I really think it is why I am feeling really good, because like I even was like just on my period. Like things have been, and I like physically was not feeling well from it. And was like, I don't know, I've just been like really busy, and then I don't know, there's been a lot going on that I think normally I'd be feeling like a pile of shit. But I feel like doing the morning routine like that consistently is the difference, because it just like centers me, and I always do like some gratitude with it, and that makes you feel really good. And yeah, I don't know, I just feel like it's slowing down the like how fast things can feel a little bit, just a little.
I mean, yeah, but like
I'll take what I can get.
I was about to say,
So, yeah.
take what you can get.
Oh yeah. So yeah, that's my doable for September.
Good job.
Thank you.
Downloaded that app, but then forgot to use it.
Fair. I've had that app for months and wasn't using it for a long time, so don't feel bad.
Okay, great. I don't then. Okay, so I don't really have like proof or accountability or whatever, but I will say, was I coming home and stretching and meditating every single day? No, I wasn't. But I think I was doing it enough that even if I didn't come home and like stretch or whatever, I was taking way fewer naps or like way shorter naps.
Hell yeah.
Because I think my body was just like, oh, we stay awake now. Like, you haven't been coming home and immediately laying down and going to sleep. You've been coming home and staying awake and stretching and activating your mind in some way. So then I think my mind was like, okay, so you're coming home and you're not going to sleep. Great. And if I did take a nap, they were like very like, they were naps, not deaths. Not deaths. Sleeps. Yeah. Yeah. So, but good. I would say like majority, I have been coming home, stretching a little bit. Like my body doesn't feel as like tense, and I mean, it definitely still a little bit, but like it just has felt nice to just like be like like my mind being active when I come home. Yeah. So yeah.
Well, hell yeah.
Not perfect, I love that for but you. I'll take it. Thank you.
Snaps for Shelby.
Thank you. Thank you.
I love that. So are you going to keep it up?
I think so. Because I've just genuinely like enjoyed it. Like it's not something I dread doing, or I'm like, okay.
Next time we're going to shame her if she doesn't have receipts. But this time we'll give her a pass. How about that?
Thank you. I'll put it like on my home screen so I actually see it.
Yeah, like it took me doing that for sure.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's kind of how I'm like giving myself grace. It's like, okay, you're not always going to do every single thing you want to fucking do, but if you show up, you did it. That's all you got to do. Yeah. That's how I'm doing it. Because I'm always like, I need to hold myself accountable, but I can't pressure myself. Because then it gets I get really unhealthy with it. It's like there's a weird balance we gotta find of like, how far do I push myself without turning into a psycho? Just a little bit. So yeah. Okay, great. Well, have you done your consumable? Because to be fair, I'm not done with mine.
I'm definitely not done with it. nor
Okay.
have I been the best with it.
Well,
I have my book.
we're barely halfway through September. Let's be real.
That's true.
We're updating.
I'm
Or we're
on
doing this
chapter
early.
15. So I feel like that's
Out of like, show us where you're at, bookmark wise. Oh, that's like at least a third, right?
yeah.
Hell yeah.
Like this is what I've read. The top.
If
part.
she was at like a 10th or less than a quarter, I would have shamed her a little bit. No,
That's
I wouldn't
fine.
have. We're barely into the month. She's
wouldn't
doing
have
great.
expected it.
She's doing great.
But it's really good.
Yeah.
I'm actually really enjoying it. I just have been kind of bad at like reading just in general. Like because
Well, you've
every
been
time
busy
I
as
start
fuck.
to read, I start falling asleep, and I've been busy, and
Yeah.
so
The fact that you're that much in it is pretty good, I think.
I do recommend it so far. If you haven't
Dope.
started reading it, or like if you didn't pick my consumable, which is fine.
But she's judging
It's actually
you.
really good. Yeah, a little bit. So
Okay, dope. So
Yeah.
far you'd recommend.
yes, yeah,
But she reserves the right to change her mind.
exactly. Because
Dope.
a lot can happen the last like quarter of a book. So
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
right,
Um,
right.
Okay, dope. So you're still consuming
Still
the naturals.
Mm-hmm.
Is what it's called. Okay, great.
Yes.
So do you know what you're doing next month? Or wait, should I get into mine?
Yeah, do yours first.
Oh, okay. So I was consuming. So I basically was saying the international seasons of Love is Blind,
Mm-hmm.
but I was only promising starting with Brazil
Mm.
because there's like
Mhm.
several different sets of international seasons.
Whoa.
So it did it again, didn't it?
A ghost.
There's ghosts in here, y'all. It was Friday the
Blowing their
13th this weekend.
noses. What?
Did you hear me? It was Friday
Yes,
the
it
13th
was.
this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. Watch out.
And I got the vibe.
Was this? Oh, emo night. Your the E was covered.
Oh.
The Mo night.
Mona. The
Oh, that's
Mona
cute.
hole. Thanks.
Oh, I love that.
Anyway.
Okay, so yeah, I have watched most of the first season of the Brazil season
Okay.
or show.
How is it?
So far, it's good. However, of course, there's gonna be pros and cons, right? Like I
Sure.
said, I'd bring notes. I said I'd bring receipts. That doesn't
Mhm.
track. It doesn't matter.
No.
So the con is, of course, they're speaking another language.
Mhm.
So it's dubbed in English, which for audience, if you don't know, dubbed means they have someone speaking over the real cast who are speaking
Mhm.
their native language of Portuguese. I believe they're all speaking Portuguese, at least. I know at least some of them are. I don't know what they're saying. I can't hear them. And it's an English speaking voice actor like speaking for these people, so it's not their real voices. It's disconnected from it, and of course there's subtitles. But then what was annoying is that the subtitles were off from the dub sometimes. So like the subtitles would say that they're saying one thing and the dub says something else, and I was like, well, that's a little confusing. Like, who do I trust? Like, are you guys representing the characters correctly? Like, I don't know. I'm just a
Right.
little skeptical. So that's my con,
Okay.
is just the fact that if they're speaking a different language and it, because of my language barrier to their language, it just takes me out of it a little bit because I'm focusing on the dub and the subs and all that dumb shit.
Right.
But overall, I'm enjoying it. My takeaways so far, so I think I only have like 2 episodes left of the first season. There's like 4 seasons of just the Brazil.
Oh, really?
I wanted to come with like knowledge about the other Love is Blind catalog. So there's like 4 Brazil seasons. There is also a fucking spin-off for Brazil. It's called After the Altar. I'm like, I'm sorry. Where is this? Where is this for us? Who do I gotta fuck? How dare they?
How
How fucking dare they? So yeah, I'm a little bit annoyed, but I'm excited to check it out, whatever that is. So I haven't gotten there yet. So there's also a Mexico. There is a Japan. And I think those are the only other two other than the UK that I had already done. I think, unless there's stuff hiding from me on Netflix, which I don't know why they would do that. Sponsor us. No, I'm just kidding.
Rude.
After I've talked so much shit about Netflix. A little bit of money. Just don't make me pay for it. Anyway, so yeah, I'm in this, like, for the first season. I think I'm right before the weddings, so we'll see. But so far it seemed like they were moving really fast, like compared to like the other seasons I've watched of any.
Honestly, I feel like I wouldn't mind. Sometimes I do feel like ours goes so slow.
And to be fair, they have more couples. So that helps. And that's how the UK one was as well. So that's like more about like maybe it's just casting. Or I'm wondering if in Brazil they just have a culture that is more into this type of show, and that's why like they can play off, like they have a lot of seasons already. They have the spin-off. It feels like there's a lot going on with the like Brazil Love is Blind community. But yeah, so they were moving really fast. Some of them, like, it showed a proposal or like a meetup, not even a proposal, like of them seeing each other after proposing by the end of the first episode, I want to say. Or at least the doors are about to open and that's how they leave off. I know. I thought that was crazy. Wild too.
Yeah.
But I think that there was just more, like when I watched all the pod section, because that was my first thought, was like, they're moving fucking fast. Like, they are fucking steamrolling through this shit. But then I was like, maybe it was just a few couples. And there always is one couple on, like, the US version or whatever.
So fast.
That will be engaged by the end of the first episode. And, of course, it's editing. But, like, you know that, like, they were on each other from the first date and, like, got engaged pretty quickly. Like, weren't talking to other people. So in this, they all started dropping anyone they weren't interested in immediately. So some of these people were committing by the second date, which is crazy. Like, they've talked for like 10 minutes and they're already like, I'm not talking to anyone but you. And it's like, what? So, and I think that there were just more couples like that, because there were still several that weren't like that and that were like, oh, I don't know. That's like how I felt about the pods. Having been in the relationship period before the weddings, so far it's all been pretty chill, but I think there's gonna be drama with like one of the couples that had seemed like they were all hot and heavy, and now I'm like, is he fake? Because they are dropping the signs that like he's possibly been fake this whole time, but is being good about being a one-way in front of the cameras. Like, they've specifically been mentioning he changes in front of the cameras. So, I'll have more thoughts when I finish the season.
All right. I can't wait to hear about it.
Yeah.
You're making me want to watch it, so.
Okay. Well, that's what I'm here to do. So, what are we thinking for October? Which is crazy.
October, my doable is going to be June's homework.
Okay, dope.
My doable
affirmations,
will
baby.
Be the affirmations on a sticky note on my mirror and saying them in my head or out loud every time I go to the bathroom. That'll be my doable. Join me. Then my consumable is I am going to start. I've kind of already started it, but mine's going to be a TV show. A reality TV show. Shocker, I know. I'm going to consume the OG of the OG Real Housewives of Orange County.
I've been wanting, and I talked to clients about this. So, because if I talk to clients about shows and they start talking about reality, and I'll be like, so which ones do you watch? Like, because I don't watch tons of reality shows, but like, I obviously love it. Like, anyway, so if we talk about the Housewives, I'm always like, tell me where to start. Like, I haven't watched any of them, and they'll be like, I don't know either. And then we always talk about how it feels like there's too much. If you haven't dabbled, there's too much.
Yes.
And it's just too intimidating to get started.
Okay. So listen to me. I'm going to tell you right now. Okay?
Yes.
So, Real Housewives is, I mean, I've been watching them for the past like maybe year and a half, 2 years. And that's like the theme of Maddie's Bachelorette. Like part of it is we're doing like a Real Housewives night because she's like obsessed. She's seen them all millions of times. But so she kind of got me into them because I love reality TV. I'm all about it. Name one, I've probably watched it besides the Real Housewives because it is so overwhelming because there's so many and there's so many seasons of all of them, and you know.
Yeah.
So Maddie told me to start with New York, and I do agree that that is like the perfect season to get you interested. They are almost some of the like most well known. They are some of the funniest and craziest, so it like hooks you from the beginning. Like it's not like boring, and it's not so old that you're like, what the fuck am I watching, the fucking 1980s? But it's like not super new where you still have like enough to watch. So I recommend starting at New York because that's what I did, and it obviously has worked. And then I watched Beverly Hills because I like Vanderpump Rules, and Lisa Vanderpump is on there. So that was already intriguing to me. And now I'm starting season 6 of Orange County because that one is so old that season 1 is like kind of boring
outdated.
and outdated and like so that's how
Okay.
I've done it. So I recommend it that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, keep us posted.
I will.
Because I'm interested at minimum. So
okay, perfect. That's all I need.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay.
How about you?
See, I didn't really know. I should just keep going with the Love is Blind seasons, right?
I think so.
But do I want to keep going?
You could make that kind of like I'm still going to consume, but I also might consume this while I'm if you don't want to stick with
well then see, I can't decide if I want to say maybe I just like kind of do that, like still keep doing those but then throw this in, or if that's way too much. But all the like reality realtor shows are also my shit. And I
like Selling Sunset and stuff.
So Selling Sunset just dropped a new season. Watched almost all of it yesterday.
Yeah.
Because I just kept watching it, and I've now watched Owning Manhattan was one. Fucking good.
Okay.
And then
heard of it, never watched it.
Right. And then so that was the first one I had done that wasn't the Oppenheim group, which is like the same real or like brokerage company that's part of like all like a lot of the original Netflix versions of this, which was Selling Sunset. Now there's like Selling the OC. There's like another one or one coming. I don't even fucking know. Like there's way too many.
Yeah.
Which I've kept up with Selling the OC as well, which this third season was fucking good. So I'm like, do I just throw in the like all the Netflix reality shows like as another one of these, like I'm gonna get through all of these at some point so I don't burn myself out. Okay, I'll do that because I was watching Selling Sunset and there's more of those to watch.
So I'm just gonna say
right. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna keep doing Love is Blind seasons, and I'm gonna start and continue all the realtor reality shows.
Perfect. Love that.
Okay. Great. And I didn't say my to-do. So I'm already starting to like I'm still working on the morning routine. So that's going to be something like I'll continue to show receipts, and like the other stuff I'm trying to incrementally like add in to that. I'm going to say my October one is some like skincare stuff.
Okay.
So I'm like so part of this is because I'm neurodiverse and I'm a skin picker. I'm just gonna say it.
Same.
I've always been
girl.
one. I used to pick my hair out when I was a kid.
You see all this?
So you more of a face then, or just because you're a picker? I'm
more of a face, but like face, nails. Like if I have, like I do it a lot, like back here. Mm-hmm. I feel you, girl.
Well, I'm more of like body or hair or that kind of stuff, I feel like. And lately I've been picking at my legs so bad because I'm having like I haven't been doing hair removal because I'm going to do some before our trip. So I'm letting the leg hair grow a little bit. It's trimmed, but like I don't know, I'm just getting a lot of like ingrown hairs. Like my body hair is like changing. And either way, it's all growing weird and it makes me pick at it a lot. And I don't want to be picking at my legs while I'm on our trip.
No.
And that specifically is why I was like, I'm going to start doing things and consciously, like if I notice I'm picking, stop. And I'm going to start doing some things more regularly to help my leg skin just not be pickable, which is I'm going to do dry.
Doing that on no trip?
No. So I'm dry brushing. If you guys haven't heard of that,
I've been seeing that on TikTok a lot.
I've been dabbling with that for months. But of course I had kind of fallen off. So now I'm like, okay, get back to that. Get back to using actual products like lotions and, you know, just the correct stuff for my skin ailments. Because I was just slacking. Like, I don't really do that stuff. So so I'm going to do that. And I even made a, like, don't break the chain. So I would actually, like, just at least I want to say I did it. Even if I don't have a chain, I want to, like, see my progress.
Yeah. Amazing. So. Gonna have the best legs around.
I don't know about that. Well, gang, what did you think about what we have done and consumed and what we're going to continue doing and consuming?
And if you're like joining us or, you know.
Yeah. Or you're not.
Yeah.
Tell us that.
Or if you're just intrigued by us doing it.
Yeah.
We hope you join us in something. Even if it's just one of the things one of us is doing.
Right. Well, we love being here with you guys today.
Yeah. This was a good one.
It was a good one. It was very like flow. Peep us on all of our things. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Join the community. What else, Shelby?
Tell your friends and you know, just enjoy us, you know?
Yeah. Just watch us if you haven't yet. We're on video.
Yeah, it's way better, I promise.
It is. It's really good. I was even watching us on YouTube on my TV when I was sleep deprived. So that says something. Actually, it lulled me to sleep when I couldn't sleep. So take that as you would like.
That could either be a positive or a negative. I'm going to choose to take that as a positive. That we are just soothing.
It was soothing to me, yes.
I love that.
And on that note, until next time, guys.
Ta-ta for now.
Ta-ta for now. Bye. I just heard someone blow their nose. I don't know if it was your end or mine.
I think yours, because I'm the only one here.
Oh.
So I hope it's not my
side. Or it was a ghost. The ghosts are ghosting today.
They are.
Anyway.
We should have pet cameras set up.
My dogs are always moving. That's a good idea.
Mine aren't. Well, mine one. Would you guys like us to have pet cameras? And it could just be playing while we're talking? Like to the side? Would you like that? Because, like, I want to keep showing you Clyde, but I can't, like, I don't want to move my whole ass camera.
Right. You could always take
cute.
a